I never really loved anyone but Robyn. That single sentence hit like a punch to the gut for fans who've been following sister wives from the very beginning. After years, decades of watching Kody Brown talk about unity, commitment, and building a big, loving family with multiple wives, we get that. That's what he says on national TV. To millions of people who saw him hold hands with Meri at the altar, raise kids with Janelle, and share a home and heart with Christine. It's like watching a man rewrite his own past while the cameras are still rolling. And if you've been paying attention, this isn't just a one time slip. Cody's entire narrative has shifted so much over the years, it's honestly hard to keep up. One season, he's all about family values and sticking together for the kids. The next, he's claiming loyalty was never there, love was one sided, and only Robyn ever mattered. How did we go from we're all in this together to it was always just Robyn? Hi, friends. I'm Oliva, and welcome back to TLC's Sister Wives Secret. If you've ever felt emotionally jerked around by this show, you're not alone. Today, we're going deep into Cody's ever changing version of reality, the emotional toll it's taken on the women he once claimed to love, and how Robyn's rise to the top of this pyramid has changed everything. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever yelled at the TV during an episode, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Kody Brown, the man who once sold himself as the ultimate champion of big family dreams. The guy who claimed to be all in for a united plural household where love, faith, and teamwork ruled the day. That version of Kody, he was front and center in season 15, episode 1, standing in Janelle's backyard, throwing out words like legacy, togetherness, and how he hoped all the kids and moms would choose each other because of love, not just obligation. He looked into the camera, into his wives' eyes, and said it all like he meant it. But now we're living in Cody's new storyline, one where he never really loved anyone but Robyn. It's hard to imagine a more dramatic flip. Because if that's true, if Robyn was always the one, then what does that mean for Meri? For Janelle? For Christine? Were they just placeholders in his life while he waited for Robyn to show up? See, this is where fans start feeling emotionally tricked. Because we've watched the old episodes. We remember the camping trips, the marriage counseling, the tears during those family meetings. We saw him beg Christine not to leave. We saw him say to Janelle that he wanted to figure things out, that he was heartbroken. And yet, fast forward a few seasons, and suddenly he's rewriting that history with a Sharpie, saying he was never in love in the first place. And here's what makes it worse. It's not just that Cody's story changes, it's that it changes depending on who he's talking to. If he's with Robyn, he's the wounded husband who's been abandoned by ungrateful wives. If he's in a one-on-one with the camera, he's the betrayed victim. But if you rewind a few seasons, he's the guy initiating every single move that tore those relationships apart. It's like he customizes the truth based on what makes him look best in that moment. At this point, it's not just confusing, it's exhausting. Viewers don't know which version of Kody is real because he's given us so many, and they all contradict each other. It feels like emotional gaslighting, not just for the women involved, but for the fans who've been watching this story unfold for over a decade. If Cody's shifting stories weren't already enough to raise eyebrows, what really seals the deal is how he treats Robyn compared to everyone else. I mean, the favoritism isn't subtle. It's screaming at us through the screen every single episode. From the moment Robyn entered the picture, the dynamic changed. And it wasn't just about romance, it was about priority. She's the only one Kody legally married. That move, which meant divorcing Meri, was originally sold as a formality, so he could adopt Robyn's kids. But over time, it became crystal clear. This wasn't just paperwork. It was the beginning of Kody building an entirely different life, one where Robyn wasn't just the newest wife, she was the wife. Let's look at the facts. Robyn lives in the biggest, most expensive house, while the other wives were constantly stressing over money and dealing with unfinished property plans. Robyn had a nanny during a pandemic, while Janelle and Christine were juggling kids and grandkids on their own. The other households piecing things together. Robyn's home, fully furnished, polished with new gadgets and decor in every room, and the way Cody shows up for her, it's a different version of him. He's present. He's affectionate. He communicates. With the other wives, he was suddenly busy, confused, emotionally distant. But at Robyn's house, he was fully invested, playing with the kids, attending school events, and sticking to lockdown rules only when it benefited that household. And remember the moment when Christine pointed out the unfairness in how her kids were being treated? The double standards were undeniable. Cody would go weeks without seeing some of his own children because they didn't follow his strict COVID protocols. Meanwhile, the nanny was somehow allowed in and out of Robyn's house without an issue. Christine asked the question we were all thinking: what does the nanny do? And that moment, it broke something in the fandom. People started seeing the whole setup for what it really was. Robyn became not just a wife, but the entire center of Cody's world. The rest were slowly pushed out, emotionally and physically. And while Cody claims he's a victim of betrayal, what we're really seeing is a man who made his choice a long time ago and just kept hoping no one would call him out for it. While Cody and Robyn were building their perfectly polished household, the other wives were slowly unraveling. And not because they gave up, but because they were being shut out, piece by piece. You could see it in their eyes, hear it in their voices. This wasn't just marriage tension, it was heartbreak, betrayal, and exhaustion, dragged out over years. Let's talk about Meri first, the catfishing scandal that didn't come out of nowhere. That was the byproduct of a woman who had been emotionally abandoned. She'd been Cody's first wife, the one who built the foundation of that family, and yet by the time Robyn was legally married to him, Meri had been reduced to a shadow. And when she got caught up in the emotional affair online, instead of support, she got public humiliation. Cody completely distanced himself. The man she had loved for decades just emotionally packed up and walked out. In the show, he practically sneered when talking about Meri, dismissing her pain like it was her own fault for being lonely. Where was the grace? Where was the compassion? Then there's Janelle, always the practical one, always focused on the kids, the finances, the logistics that kept the family functioning. But even she couldn't ignore the shift. Her kids, especially Gabe and Garrison, begged for time with their dad and got distance instead. During the pandemic, they weren't safe enough to see him, while Robyn's kids had full access. And when Janelle confronted Cody about that, he basically told her to choose. So she did. She picked her kids. She said, "I'm choosing the kids, I'm choosing the dogs." And you could hear in her voice, this wasn't defiance, it was devastation. She knew the marriage was already gone. And then Christine. Oh, Christine. Her knife in the kidneys moment wasn't just a dramatic phrase, it was the rawest truth she could give. When Cody told her he wasn't attracted to her anymore, after years of raising kids, holding the family together, sacrificing everything for this dream, it shattered her. And even after she told him how deeply he had hurt her, he acted stunned, like he was the victim. That moment changed everything. Christine was done playing nice. She packed her things, took her dignity, and left. And you know what? The world cheered her on. These women didn't just lose a marriage, they lost their sense of belonging in a family they helped create. And Cody? He kept rewriting the story like their pain was a footnote. Now let's get into something that still leaves fans scratching their heads to this day: the catfishing scandal. Meri's emotional affair with a person she thought was a man named Sam turned out to be a con artist. That alone was devastating. But what really raises eyebrows is how closely the catfish seemed to know the Brown family, and how quickly the fallout was swept under the rug. This wasn't just a stranger sliding into her DMs. The messages this person sent Meri were oddly specific, like they had access to private, emotional details no outsider could have known. And when the dust settled, one name kept popping up: Kendra, Robyn's longtime friend and former cheerleader on social media. It was Kendra who publicly vouched for the so-called Sam, saying she believed he was real and that Meri wasn't being catfished. Which is strange, right? Because once it came out that Sam didn't exist, You'd think Kendra would have backpedaled or explained herself, but she vanished from the spotlight almost completely. Then there's Robyn's reaction, or lack of it. When Meri finally opened up about what happened, Robyn didn't exactly rush in with sisterly support. In fact, there was a moment in one of the episodes, during a group conversation, where Meri was visibly emotional, trying to explain what she went through, and Robyn just sat there, silent, barely made eye contact. And for someone who's usually quick to jump in, always offering her 2 cents, her sudden quiet felt loud. Then there's Robyn's reaction, or lack of it. When Meri finally opened up about what happened, Robyn didn't exactly rush in with sisterly support. In fact, there was a moment in one of the episodes, during a group conversation, where Meri was visibly emotional, trying to explain what she went through, and Robyn just sat there, silent, barely made eye contact. And for someone who's usually quick to jump in, always offering her 2 cents, her sudden quiet felt loud. Even more curious, in a later tell-all, Robyn admitted she knew more about what was happening than she let on. She stopped short of explaining what she knew, but that kind of half-confession only added fuel to the fire. Why hold back? Why not help Meri if you really believed she was in trouble? We're not here to make wild accusations, but if you look at the timeline, the legal divorce in 2014, the catfishing scandal breaking in 2015, it's hard not to ask the obvious question. Was this a coincidence? Or did someone see an opportunity? Maybe Robyn didn't orchestrate it. Maybe she didn't even encourage it. But if she knew something and stayed quiet, that silence speaks volumes. And in a family already crumbling from secrets, favoritism, and emotional manipulation, even passive complicity is damaging. What do you think? Was Robyn just a bystander, or did she quietly benefit from Meri's humiliation? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you saw. Let's talk about power, not just emotional, but financial. Because while the other wives were busy making sacrifices, holding down multiple hustles, and raising kids in chaos, Robyn seemed to be quietly building a fortress around herself. And not just metaphorically. I mean, literally. Did you see that $750,000 house? When the Brown family was supposedly drowning in shared financial stress, Robyn and Cody managed to snag the biggest, most expensive home out of all the wives. Meanwhile, Janelle was renting and barely getting by. Christine was struggling to make her kids feel heard. And Meri? She had to scrape together financing on her own to buy her dream, the B&B that meant something to her family legacy. She asked for support. They promised help. Then they ghosted. And yet Robyn somehow got everything greenlit. And let's not forget the infamous nanny. While Christine was being told her children couldn't visit during the pandemic, Robyn had hired outside help. That nanny was costing them between $40,000 and $60,000 a year. In a family where the message was tighten your belts, Robyn's household looked more like it was prepping for a luxury catalog shoot. The house was fully decorated, every surface adorned, top-tier kitchen gadgets, not hand-me-downs or thrifty finds. This was retail therapy, deluxe edition. Then there's Sister Wives Closet. Remember that? The family business that never really took off? Robyn's pet project soaked up time, money, and attention, only to fizzle out without much explanation. And who came out of that unscathed? Robyn. Not a whisper of accountability from her or Cody, who loves to talk about being a master salesman. But where are the receipts? Because when Meri built a business, on her own, she made it happen. No help. No Cody saving the day. Just her grit. Cody's whole image as a business-savvy leader starts to crumble the second you compare what he says to what actually happens. He talks like he's running a Fortune 500 empire, but when it comes to real results, it's Robyn who seems to reap the benefits. The spending, the favoritism, the home, it all tells the story of who really holds the influence. And honestly, it's hard to ignore how silent the rest of the family was about it. Why didn't they speak up? Maybe because they saw what happened to Meri when she challenged the dynamic. Maybe they didn't want to be the next one pushed out. So here's the question. Was Robyn just lucky? Or did she and Cody engineer something behind the scenes that left the other wives scrambling while she got the crown? So when we step back and really look at everything, the shifting stories, the blatant favoritism, the emotional wreckage left behind, It's hard not to wonder if the show has been revealing the truth about Cody and Robyn all along. Was this slow unraveling of the family something they never expected viewers to piece together? Or have they been hiding in plain sight the entire time? Christine's heartbreak, Meri's isolation, Janelle's quiet strength, they weren't just side plots, they were consequences of a system that stopped working the second one person was placed above the rest. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Cody and Robyn were always playing a long game? Or did things spiral out of control along the way? If you're not already part of our TLCS Sister Wives Secret family, hit that subscribe button now. Like this video, drop your thoughts below, and don't miss the next episode, because we're digging even deeper into the secrets they never wanted us to see.